Petroleum. Crude petroleum is greenish black liquid. Crude petroleum is greenish black liquid. It is by the compression at a high temperature and pressure gets converted from some biomass. The whole forest in the Jurassic age maybe went under the ground, and because of lot of tremendous pressure and temperature, the materials we can call biomass, that biomass is converted to petroleum. Okay, because of difference of composition and pressure temperature difference also, sometimes we get coal, sometimes we get petroleum. Now this petroleum liquid, it is the crude oil. It is called the crude oil. The color is almost black, greenish tint is there in the black color, greenish black you can say. It is also called liquid gold. Why? Because it is as good as gold. So OPEC country is very rich because they are selling this thing in the market. OPEC country, those who are producing petroleum from their mines and they are selling in the whole world. OPEC country, Kuwait, Bahrain, Gulf countries. Gulf countries, they are producing, Iraq, Iran also, they are producing lot of petroleum and they are rich country. Only by selling this petroleum, they are quite rich. So it is as good as gold. That's why we can call it liquid gold. This petroleum is called liquid gold because of that reason. See, we have lot of things. We see our India is Sonika Chidiya. Already there, yes, that is a historical name given to India, Sonika Chidiya. Okay, so why British tried to rule our country? Because there was a lot of fertility. Our agriculture was the best. Okay, and we are very rich about different spices. And we used to export in the whole world silk, and that's why there is silk route. Okay, silk was very famous. Our mushroom was very famous. So India was a very rich country that time. But what is the production of this OPEC country? Only oil, this petroleum. That is their only thing. Okay, they have got.
We have lots of variations.
You have lot of other things, but we don't have oil. So petroleum we have to always buy. That is and our currency, foreign currency is mostly Spain for these two things. One is gold, other one is petroleum. Maximum our this whatever foreign currency we are accumulating, we are collecting, that is spent by these two purposes. One is the gold, other one is petroleum. Okay. Now why that's why I told why it is called black gold. Because it is as good as gold. Those who are having that petroleum, they are selling in the market and they are very rich country. Very simple. What is petroleum? It is mixture of hydrocarbons. Simply if I want to explain you, it is a mixture of hydrocarbons. There are different fragments of petroleum. We call it petrol, diesel, kerosene. They are all produced from petroleum. But always, what is the composition? Chemical composition is hydrocarbon. Like for example, your most common one is petrol. Most famous of these petroleum products is petrol. What is the composition? Pentane, hexane, heptane, octane, pentene, hexene, heptene, octane. That means a combination of alkane and alkene. Alkynes are rare, but mainly alkane and alkene. Why alkynes are rare? Hydrogen is also there in the mixture. So that's why unsaturation up to alkene is found. So alkane is around 75% and alkene around 25%. That is the composition. Pentane, hexane, heptane, octane 75%. Pentene, hexene, heptene and octane 25%. So total what we get? This the different type of hydrocarbons, alkanes and alkenes altogether. That is about our petrol. So petrol and petroleum, what is the difference? Petroleum is the oil that is taken, crude oil that is taken out from the mines After distillation, we are getting petrol, diesel, kerosene. Okay. Another one, famous one is diesel. What is diesel? Pentadecane to octadecane and pentadecane to octadecane. Means carbon number 15 to carbon number 18. Again alkane and alkene combination. Mainly alkane, some amount of alkene. That is our diesel. So that diesel is also coming from petroleum. So one fraction is petrol, another fraction is diesel. What is kerosene? It is carbon number 10 to carbon number 16. Carbon number 10 to carbon number 16. Now you can tell me, there is a overlapping, right? There is overlapping. Because kerosene I am telling 10 to 16 and diesel I am telling 15 to 18. There is some overlap. Yes, that happens. Because it is a mixture. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no specific composition. There is a mixture of this. And the mixture composition also may vary a little bit depending on the source. Where from you are getting that petroleum? Petroleum we are getting from throughout the world. Okay. So mostly it is available in the OPEC country, Arabian countries. So they have nothing. They are desert country. Mostly what they have? Petroleum oil well. Okay. Sekji. So many Sekjis are there. They are very rich. They are most rich, I think, in the world, or throughout the world, because of this petroleum. They are selling petroleum. And they have only petroleum oil wells, the mines. Now, if I give you just analysis, first carbon number 1 to carbon number 4, that composition is your gas, natural gas. Carbon number 1 to carbon number 4 mixture, maximum is carbon number 1. That means methane. More than 75% to 80% is methane. That we are calling natural gas. Okay. Now, carbon number 2, carbon number 3, maximum composition is there into LNG. LPG, LNG and CNG. CNG, compressed natural gas. This compressed natural gas mainly methane that we get from underground, obviously. Okay. This gas also we get from various sources. So accordingly, little bit of composition change is expected. Sometimes we get the gas above petroleum. The gas trapped above petroleum. That is called wet natural gas. Wet natural gas. It is trapped above petroleum. Okay, when you dig the oil mines, you find that above petroleum some gas is trapped. That is called wet natural gas. Sometimes we get the gas just as such, without petroleum. That is called dry natural gas. So two types of natural gas we get. Why natural gas? Because naturally obtained. What is the composition? Mainly methane. Other things are also there to some extent. Mainly it is methane. Now if you apply pressure, it is not liquefied, but is compressed. That is called CNG. When you have methane, molecularity is very small. What is the molecularity? Only 16. So low molecularity. And this low molecularity is not suitable for liquefaction. Why low molecularity means attractive force among the molecule is less. That means van der Waals force is weak, and with a gas with a weak van der Waals force, we cannot expect the liquefaction. So that's why with a pressure you can liquefy, you can compress, but cannot liquefy. Okay, that is CNG. Now, if you have some larger molecule like propane, some amount of butane mixture, then it can be liquefiable. Compressed and then liquefied. It is called LNG. CNG, where we are using? Auto. LNG, where we are using? School bus. Delhi area. Okay. Why not here? Not available here. Why CNG here? It is available. Very simple reason. Very simple logic. Available, use it. Don't have, if it is not available, how do you get it? Okay. And from long distance, you are not. It is not economically viable. You cannot carry it from long distance. Whatever is locally available, people always try to use it. That is quite natural, right? So we are using mustard oil because mustard is available here. And South India people are using coconut oil because coconut is available there. Okay? Why you are taking too much of fish? Because it is available here. Simple logic, right? So here also. This CNG mostly we are using at Bengal. in the auto. But LNG, people are using at Delhi because it is available there more. Okay, locally available. That's why. So CNG, LNG. LPG is a very common gas that everywhere throughout the world, India, we are using for cooking purpose. That is kitchen gas, gas cylinder. That is mainly butane. Mainly it is butane. Okay. Larger molecule, liquefiable. That's why LPG. LNG is in between. LPG is more liquefiable easily. That inside the tank, if you just move the tank, you will find just giving some sound like water inside. Right? So that is because it is liquefiable and it is already liquefied. So that's why we call it LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Okay?
Sir, if it is not liquefied, so what's the problem?
No, it will take more space. Your tank will be very large. If it is liquefied, your tank will be small and you are getting more amount of gas into that. It is not only compressed but liquefied, it will take much less space. So smaller cylinder can last much longer. Okay. Now another fraction is called petroleum ether, pet ether. Second bench, what are you doing? Hey, Indonil, don't talk. Don't talk, listen. So next, what is telling about petroleum ether. So I am just making you familiarize about all the petroleum products. They are called petroleum products. So better to get familiarized first. After that you will go systematically. Okay. So this another fraction or portion is called petroleum ether, pet ether. Very common. Pet ether is what? You can crack the gas. Cracking, you know, cracking pyrolysis. This pyrolysis or cracking means by applying, yes, cracking. Cracking means by heating or by some other technique. Long chain molecule is broken into small fragments. That is called cracking. Long chain break into small parts. Okay, like heavy oil broken into small fragments of pentane, hexane, heptane. So it will be in the you can produce synthetic petrol out of that. Synthetic petrol. Natural petrol by distillation or collecting, but it is not always sufficient. If you can produce something by some other means, is better. So a long chain molecule like heavy oil, there is a fraction of petroleum products called heavy oil. That is a long chain, 20 molecular, 30 carbon number, long chain. So this heavy oil is a bit thicker, viscous liquid, or sometimes it can be semi-solid also, or solid, like paraffin, candle. What is the candle made of? Paraffin, wax, right? Wax. So that is paraffin or wax is the material from which you are making the candle. Candle is the ready product and paraffin is the raw material. Lump of wax, paraffin, from that we are preparing candle. So these are long chain molecule, carbon number 20, 25 combination, long chain. Heavy oil can undergo cracking to prepare some petrol again. So it is called synthetic petrol. By cracking we can prepare or produce some amount of petroleum. Maybe 25% of our consumption can be prepared by that way. Okay, so that is called synthetic petrol.
It's the equivalent of the
same. You are getting just cracking long chain molecule and breaking into small fragments. That is a technique, cracking technique, and that way you are producing some petroleum. So actually petrol, same that by the way, you have to always go for a quality control check. When you are taking from mines also, you have to go for quality control check. So for this synthetic also you go for quality control check, no problem. Quality control checking is there. Long chain we cannot use in the vehicle because it will be give you soot. If you give you more smoke, it will be not long last. It will give carbon dust particles inside the engine. That way the efficiency of the engine will go down. That's why you have to go into small fragments petrol. Okay, now how it is produced, this petroleum? By temperature, pressure and compression, particularly compression, high temperature compression. That way it is produced. Now this liquefied petroleum average composition, this is the percentage of different elements percentage if you consider. So carbon is 80 to 87%, very high carbon percent, and that's why calorific value is very high.
Carbon, more calories.
Yes. So, but up to certain carbon number is good. Longer than that, it is not good because it will produce carbon particles.
What's the limit?
Normally, if for petrol engine, for diesel engine, depending on your engine. For petrol engine, you are going for 8, up to 8, 5 to 8, as I told you. Now, for diesel engine, 15 to 18. So, above that, normally you are not using. So, if it is 20, 25, you have to break it. So, make it fragments and use it again. So, there is another gas can be produced by cracking of kerosene oil. By cracking of kerosene oil. Okay, kerosene oil means 10 to 16 carbon number. Kerosene is 10 to 16 carbon number. That means decane to hexadecane and decene to hexadecane. So, this type of long chain kerosene can be broken into small fragments. Petroleum ether, what is the main purpose? Again by cracking, and after that by polymerization, you make polymer beads. Supply of raw materials into polymer industry. You have to get the raw material in the polymer industry. So ethylene, we need large quantity ethylene that you can make from petroleum ether. So in the Haldia petrochemical, have you heard the name? Haldia petrochemical?
Yes, sir.
So in the Haldia petrochemical, there is a naphtha cracker unit. Naphtha cracker unit. So naphtha cracking is done there. Naphtha is also petroleum product. So chain size is around 4, 5, 6. So naphtha is cracked into that mainly ethylene, and that ethylene you prepare polyethylene beads. From this ethylene you prepare polyethylene beads, and that is done into that factory. It is called petroleum naphtha cracker unit. I don't know nowadays is running or not, but is not very healthy. That industry is not very healthy, not in a good health. The industry is not in a good health. No, health of industry. I am not talking about health of people. Yes, economically. When you are talking about industry, then health means economy. So it is not in a very good health. That's why I don't know very well whether petrochemical still running or not. So anyway, so these different layers are there. Just have a look. It is in front of you. Impervious rock. Then you have water. Then petroleum. Impervious rock. Then shell. Then earth's crust. It is so deep. Huh? Bead. Beads, polymer bead. No. From naphtha cracking, you are getting ethylene. Then polymerization of ethylene into polyethylene in the form of beads. Polymeric beads. Yes. Ethylene beads. All polymers are usually made into bead or small granules. Mostly polymers are made in the form granules or beads. Bead means dana. Granule means gudo dana. Bead and granules or flakes. These are the textures.
Bead,
Granules and flakes. Flakes means kati. Okay? আজিনামোটো দেখেছো? আজিনামোটো দেখো নি? রান্না খাওয়া দাওয়া করো না? চাউমিন করতে গেলে লাগে আজিনামোটো। ওই টাইপের দেখতে হয় ফ্লেক্স। এরকম কাটি হয় ফ্লেক্স। There is a গোল দানা ট্যাবলেট লাইক. It is called bead. And ছোট গুঁড়ো that is called granules. So these are the forms actually. Polymers are sometimes globules. Globule means গোল বল। Like PEG, polyethylene ethylene glycol. PEG, শুনেছো PEG? Polyethylene glycol? Ethylene glycol is polymer, polyethylene glycol. Okay, so these are in the form of globules. গোল বলের মতো ছোট globule, small globules. So different polymers are made in different variety actually. And after that, it is blended sometimes, mixed with other things. Lot of processing done. So what I am talking about is raw polymer now. After that, a lot of processing done. Then only you are getting some material which is useful. Raw polymer is not useful. You have to make it something out of that. Lot of things are added. Sometimes filler added, cross-linking agent, accelerator, coloring agent. So then only it will become lucrative. দেখতে ভালো লাগবে. So color add করা. Or always others it will be very dull color. রং বেরং আর কি, রং নেই. So after that, if you add some color, it will be looking attractive. Then only people will buy. You have to sell in the market, na? Okay, so these layers impervious means it cannot pass through. That means not permeable. So the different layers are there. You have to make it whole and take out the oil. Now the point is, how do you take it out? By pump. No, normally not done. Pump has got lot of problem. Number one, pump can give spark. Electric, na? It can give spark. It will ignite. Because things are very, very dangerous, hazardous. Oil, na? This is prone to be catch fire. It is accidental hazard is very high. So you have to be very careful. You know how we are taking the oil out? By water. Hot water. We have two pipelines, one inside another. It's concentric two pipes. One inner pipe, another is outer pipe. Hey, you are not listening. Please stop talking. Two pipelines are there. One is inner pipe, another is outer pipe. Through the outer pipe, we are pumping very high pressure water jet inside. Hot water jet. Not boiling water, but hot water jet. Okay. What it will do? It will create lot of pressure inside the oil, and the oil will automatically come out. पानी भर दिया और oil निकला है. Very simple idea. So whatever pumping or anything we do it from outside. We don't put anything inside. Okay, pump we cannot put inside, but we can put water inside, which is quite safe. Water will not catch fire. So high pressure water jet is pumped in. And with that pressure, the oil, from the inner tube, inner pipe, the oil comes out in the form of a jet, and we are collecting that. Now this thing is very complicated. I just told you the simplest way I can make you understand. The whole thing I'll show you how complicated it is.
Why hot water?
Hot water will be create more pressure because it will contain bubbles. It will contain bubbles also, it will create more pressure compared to cold water. And that's why hot water is better. Okay. So, and after that, that oil comes out. When the oil comes out is petroleum oil, right? This petroleum oil, greenish yellow colored, that type of black colored liquid, green, black and yellow, all the colors are there inside. What you can say? Greenish, yellow, black. So that colored liquid comes out. That's not all. After that, what you will do with that? It is not combustible. You cannot sell in the market. You have to distill. But before that, there is a step. You have you have already used water. Not only that, already there is a brine layer. See, water layer is here. So that's why this oil, petroleum, what you get here is emulsion. Not very pure petroleum. It is even emulsion. Do you understand emulsion? Two different liquid embedded into one another. So here water droplets are floating in the petroleum oil. Water droplets floating in the petroleum oil. More oil, less water, then what will happen? Water globules in the petroleum. And if there is a more water, less oil, then oil globules in the water. Just opposite is happening here. Now, you have to take it out. After taking it out, you have to separate these water globules by some sort of method. It's called Cottrell's precipitator unit. COTTRELL. Cottrell's method. What is that? Apply a strong electric field across this oil. Let the oil pass through by the pipeline. Above and below, you have some plate, electrical plate, charge plate. So very high voltage applied. That means you are giving some pulse of electric field. No direct anything, just electric field generated. By this field, layers will be separated. The emulsion will break and you get two separate layers. One is aqueous layer and this is organic layer. This field, by this field, because brines are having charged ions. Brine, you understand brine? Saturated sodium chloride solution is called brine. It is not pure water. Here, what water you are getting here is not pure water, it is the brine water. Means salt water. salted water. So this salted water easily you can attract by magnetic pull or electric field. Electric or magnetic field can attract this water together. So they will merge together, forming a layer. So one aqueous layer, one organic layer. Okay. Now this organic layer is taken out and then distilled. By distillation we are getting different components. Okay. See the method. So this water, when the oil is coming up, then there is a separation. The water is disposed here, called disposal. This is the Cottrell separation technique. So here the electric or magnetic field is applied, the oil is going this way and water is going this way. If sufficient gas collected, then you can collect it and sell in the market separately. If sufficient gas not there, you can burn it here. Just allow it to go out, it will burn itself. Because these are combustible methane gas. Methane gas, whenever it comes in contact of air, it burns by itself. Mars gas it is called. Mars gas, no? So Mars gas. So this is Mars gas. So methane is Mars gas, which is in contact of air, it will automatically catch fire. You don't have to take care of anything. So gas can be released into the air. Otherwise, you can, if sufficient gas is there, then it will be economically viable to collect. This is the actual situation. So clumsy, so complicated, and you think so simple. See the situation. So many pipelines, just like hairline, hundreds of pipelines are there, so much of mechanism there, and then only you get petroleum. And still, after so much of processing, the production cost not more than 50 rupees per liter petrol. But what is the price we are buying? 112, 105, right? 112 is for X9, XP95 and all, means power petrol. And if you take normal petrol, 105, 106, something like that. So, but actual production cost is not more than 50 rupees. Not more than 50 rupees, less than 50 rupees. Lot of duty is added, lot of tax added. CGST, SGST. Okay, 9% CGST is 9% SGST. And then the cost is coming that much. And then transportation cost is there.
But sir, why the diesel is less cost of?
No, it is government is making it forcefully, one is cheaper compared to other one. Forcefully. There is no this scientific reason behind it. That is that particularly government policy. It is because of government policy. And why it is so? Because diesel is used for transportation of food materials. Truck is running by diesel, na? So government forcefully making, yes, commercial vehicle, particularly truck. So government is made the diesel comparatively cheaper so that the food materials will be within our limit. Other will be very costly. দাম কমিয়ে রাখার জন্য food materials, which is essential commodities for common people.
কম না একটু কম।
হ্যাঁ, 5 টাকা না 10 টাকা কম আছে না? আগে কিন্তু অনেকটা কম ছিল, এখন অনেকটা কাছাকাছি এসে গেছে, কারণ এখন লোকে বড় হয়ে গেছে। So this is refinery actually. Hey, not petroleum production, but it's refinery. That's why so clumsy. Production unit is not so complicated. After that, when you go for refineries, that is very, very complicated. This is refinery. Refinery means money. From the raw material, we make it such materials which can be directly used into the vehicle. গাড়িতে ইউজ করা যাবে এমন ফর্মে নিয়ে যেতে হবে। ইউ হ্যাভ টু মেক ইট ইন সাচ এ ওয়ে, কনভার্ট ইন সাচ এ ওয়ে সো দ্যাট ইট ক্যান বি ইউটিলাইজড ইনটু ভেহিকল। সো দ্যাট ইজ ভেরি কমপ্লিকেটেড। দ্য প্রসেস ইজ নট সো সিম্পল। See the steps: separation of water first, removal of harmful impurities, and fractional distillation. What are harmful impurities? Sulfur. Main harmful impurity is sulfur. In the petroleum products, the main harmful impurity, if I say, is sulfur, which is bad for all engines. Sulfur deposition is very, very bad because sulfur will attract other things producing ultimately sulfuric acid. and it will damage the surface of the engine. নষ্ট করে দেবে ইঞ্জিনকে। Inner surface of the engine will be damaged by this sulfur deposition. So sulfur must be removed. So that is called harmful impurity. Mainly sulfur. Removal of water, sulfur and other impurities. Other impurities are very rare, mainly sulfur. So water, obviously water must be removed. Without removing water, there can be stalling of engine. মানে গাড়ি দাঁড়িয়ে যেতে পারে রাস্তার মাঝখানে। যদি পেট্রোলের মধ্যে জল থাকে কি হবে বলো তো? না কি হবে বলো তো? দিনের পর দিন জলটা তোমার ট্যাঙ্কে জমতে থাকবে এবং তেলের তলায় জল জমে থাকবে, নষ্ট হয়ে যাবে তো তোমার ইঞ্জিনের মধ্যে মাঝে মাঝে জল ঢুকে যাবে। না শুধু তাই নয়, কিন্তু তোমার পেট্রোলের মধ্যেই জলটা আছে, গাড়ি বৃষ্টির জল ঢোকেনি কিন্তু। না আমরা তেলটা তো ট্যাঙ্কেই ভরি, তেলটা ওপর থেকে তেলটা যাচ্ছে, তলা থেকে যাচ্ছে না, তেলটা তো একটা লেয়ার থেকে যাচ্ছে, তার তলায় জল জমে, তেলের তলায় জল জমে থাকে। জলটা ভারী তেলের তুলে, তেলটা হালকা, তেল ওপরে থাকে জল নিচে থাকে। ওই জলটা পৌঁছায় না সবসময়, কিন্তু কখনো যদি চলে যায় তাহলে ইঞ্জিন বন্ধ হয়ে যাবে। মাঝে মাঝে ক্লিন করতে হয় ট্যাঙ্ক। আর তেলের মধ্যে পেট্রোলের মধ্যে জল আছে, ওকে, ওয়াটার ইজ দেয়ার ইন দ্য পেট্রোল ইটসেলফ in the form of globules, very fine globules. So that should be removed as far as possible.
But sir, how do you collect the gas which is at the top of the layers?
There is a very big tower. I'll show you. দেখাবো। Okay, next go by this method. Already I told you Cottrell's process, separation of water by Cottrell process, by applying some sort of two highly charged electrodes. The crude oil is allowed to flow between two highly charged electrodes, where colloidal water droplets coalesce to form large drops. This I told already. Okay, this is Cottrell method. Water separated from the oil by this method. Then removal of harmful impurities by chemical technique. Different chemical methods are there, like doctor's method. There is a method called doctor's method. Okay. There is some sort of sugar of lead, okay, sugar of lead diacetate, okay, that is called sugar of lead, because a crystal looking like sugar, that's why it's called sugar of lead. These things are used, chemicals used for separation of sulfur from the petroleum. First, separation of water by Cottrell method. And what is Cottrell method? Applying high charge electric field. Then the liquid droplets floating in the oil will merge together, forming large drop, and this large drop will merge together, forming a layer. And so this separation of these two layers, organic and aqueous. Organic layer, aqueous layer. It can be separated from the pipeline. After that, go for separation of impurities. What are the impurities? Mainly sulfur. For sulfur impurity, we are using lead diacetate type of compound. That is called sugar of lead. And this method is called doctor's method. There are multiple methods for separation of these harmful chemicals, separation of sulfur from the petroleum. Even then, some people are always checking how much sulfur is present before using into large quantity. There is that's removal technique always for the removal of harmful impurities. And then finally fractional distillation. And what is fractional distillation? We have two different components. One is high boiling, another is low boiling. So your boiling point will be more than the low boiling one, but less than the high boiling one. Suppose you have alcohol and water mixture. Now alcohol boiling point 76 and water boiling point is 100. Now if you keep the temperature 80, then alcohol will be boiled but water will not boil, and so can be separated. That way separation is done. It is called fractional distillation. Okay, so particularly why I talked about alcohol. Alcohol is a very good example because alcohol is used in a very large scale, different and particularly European country, people are producing lot of alcohol by fermentation of corn. fermentation of corn. In our country, fermentation of paddy probably, or rice bran, or the other things. So many things are used for making fermentation of ethyl alcohol, production of ethyl alcohol by fermentation of food materials. Ultimately, it is food material. Some food material or other, and you are getting alcohol. And what is the purpose of alcohol? Multiple purpose is there for proof spirit injection, and there can be polish for making polish. Then methyl alcohol is used. So this alcohol and water, it is miscible. Okay, it is at any portion miscible. 90% alcohol plus 10% water, 90% water, 10% alcohol. That means it is fully miscible at any rate, any proportion. So how do you separate them? By fractional distillation. So the same thing is applied here also by fractional distillation, because you have different hydrocarbons and they have a different boiling point. So we are doing the fractional distillation to separate them. Now, what is that chimney looking like?
Also in front of me, it might look like a large complex of pumps, tanks and towers.
This is actually the fractional distillation system.
You will be surprised to find one of the technologically advanced industrial processing plant. The refinery transforms crude oil used in
This is refinery.
like petrol, diesel, kerosene, LPG, and several other products. Crude
Petrol, diesel, kerosene, LPG, and everything. All these things. Petroleum products we generally call. We call it petroleum products. Sometimes some things we make, it is called petroleum specialty product. What is that? Normally petroleum products are petrol, diesel, kerosene. These are petroleum products. Now what are petroleum specialty products? Petroleum jelly. Petroleum jelly, Vaseline. We are using Vaseline, na? This is petroleum jelly. This is also petroleum product. Lubricating oil. Different type of lubricating oil that you are getting from here. Lube oil. That is used into engine. Okay. We are using into our vehicle also. That what is that? Brake oil. We have motor oil, gear oil. So different type of oils that we are making. Lubricating oils. How do you get it? Mainly from petroleum products. But they are made in some different way, blending or some other process. Some processing is done. So that is called petroleum specialty products. Hey, silence.
One process starts with distillation. Crude oil is first heated and the vapor is put into a distillation column.
This gas, can you see some gas going upward? That is around 500 degree temperature, 550 degree temperature. The gas is produced by heating petroleum. Petroleum we are heating at a temperature of 550 like that. So at that temperature it is forming a vapor. But one thing is you have to be very cautious, because it can anytime catch fire. So that's why whole thing will be in a sealed system. It should not come in contact of air by any chance. No air, no oxygen. So without oxygen obviously cannot burn. So then only it can be safely made. And everywhere the sealing and gasket system is there. Sealing, gasket, rubber tubing, everything is used to seal the arrangement properly. And here the gas is produced at the bottom, and this separate container, the gas is coming through the pipeline and going up into this column. This is called petroleum fractionating column. Petroleum fractionating column. Now in this column, hey, who is speaking? Why you are speaking? Are you speaker? Why are you speaking? I am only the speaker here. You are listener. Don't speak. So here this gas is going up. What is the gas? Petroleum gas. It's going up. Temperature 500, 550. So it is going upward. And this particular tower, what you can see, it is called petroleum fractionating column. There are so many plates, aluminium plates. Why aluminium? Less corrosion. Okay, because high temperature it will be corroded. So aluminium is the best. Here, aluminium different trays are there, trays, and these trays or plates are having lot of very fine capillaries. A bit thicker capillary and very thin capillary. Two types of capillaries are there. Millions of capillaries. So many plates. How many plates? 500. 500 plates at different height, altitude. 1, 2, 3, 4, that way. It is packed one after another. Just one above another. So many plates are there. Up to 500 plates. And each and every plate is perforated with different capillaries. Fine capillaries. Some are a bit thicker with the hood and some are very thin without hood. বুঝতে পারলেন? Some capillaries are there with a cap, but the cap is not touching, a bit up. এইভাবে আছে. And some capillaries are there, very fine capillaries without any hood. Two types of capillaries. One is a bit thicker with the hood. Hood is not the seal. It is not cap, but it is kept like this. There is a gap in between. Okay. And there is another type of capillary, very fine capillary, which is without any hood or cap. Yes. Now coming to that. So what is happening? When the vapor comes up, it is going through the thicker capillary and then knocking at the hood and then falling down. Condensed back to the plate. Okay. That is the fractionation going on. Some of the fragments which are low boiling will go up and which are high boiling will fall down. And how it will fall down to the lower plate? By another capillary. Some things are condensed back to the finer capillaries. Liquid is falling on the plate and gas sometimes coming back to through the capillaries to the bottom plate. So in that way up and down goes on. The gas is going up and coming down also. Equilibrium. Up and down, up and down, sort of circulation going on. Gas mixer, there is sort of circulation. And some of the fragments are getting condensed in the certain plate, depending on their boiling point. Otherwise, it is they are going further ahead, upward, and getting condensed there. कहीं ना कहीं तो condensed होना है. या तो bottom plate or the next to next. If it is not getting condensed, then it's going out. If it is not getting condensed, then it's going out through the topmost vent. That is C1 to C4. That is called gas. Gas is going out through the top of this. Gas is going out through the top vent. Others at separate layer, different height, we are getting different fractions. And petrol we are getting around temperature 40 to 120 at that range temperature. Okay, 40 to 120 in that range you are getting petrol. Now up to 250 you are getting kerosene. 250 to 320 you are getting diesel. These three I remembered because they are most common. There are so many. All I cannot remember. I just remembered these three. Petrol, diesel, kerosene. Why? Because they are most popular. Acha, why kerosene is not popular? We have petrol engine, we have diesel engine, no kerosene engine. Kerosene is mostly used into jet plane. It has also has got application. Though hurricane is not used anymore, lantern, hurricane they use it. But still, it has got a huge application into jet plane. Kerosene is mixed with other things. It's a blended one. Molecularity bit more, na? So it will give more calorific value. So it will give major thrust. Calorific value diesel না কার্বন চেইন বড় যে কার্বনটা বড় না হ্যাঁ কার্বন উপর ডিপেন্ড করে তো
হ্যাঁ সেটা ঠিক আছে বাট পেট্রোলে সবথেকে বেশি তারপর ডিজেল তারপর কেরোসিন
না ডিপেন্ড করছে না ডিজেলের তাহলে ডিজেলের মাইলেজ বেশি হয় না ডিজেল মাইলেজ তো পেট্রোল থেকে বেশি বেশি না ডিজেলের মাইলেজ কি পেট্রোল থেকে বেশি না ডিজেল মাইলেজ না 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 অলমোস্ট সেম না বেশি ডিজেলের মাইলেজ বেশি ডিজেল ইঞ্জিনের দাম বেশি ডিজেলের মাইলেজ বেশি ডিজেলে চলে মাইলেজ বেশি বলে ক্যালোরিফিক ভ্যালু accurate calorific value in case of a gas it is measured into kilocalorie per meter cube and in case of a liquid it is measured in kilocalorie per kg. That's why you cannot compare that way. Unit is different. Unit আলাদা
কিন্তু তিনটেই তো লিকুইডের মধ্যেই কম্পেয়ার করছি
না, পেট্রোলের মধ্যে প্রচুর ভেপার আছে, সেই জন্য ওটা একটু অন্যরকম হবে। বাট ওটার মধ্যে প্রচুর ভেপার আছে, ওর 50% ভেপার পেট্রোলের মধ্যে, কিন্তু ডিজেলের তা নয়, লং চেন মলিকুল। পেট্রোলের মধ্যে ভেপারটা বড় বেশি, ফলে কম্পারিজনটা ঠিক ওইভাবে আসবে না। আচ্ছা, I think this will give you much better understanding compared to this clumsy structure. See, this is the tower, and I was talking about some capillaries. These are the capillaries. This with the hood, I told you. This is the capillaries with the hood. The C1 to C4 gas. This is LPG. Okay. Now C5 to C9. Okay, it is going to petrol for vehicle. Naphtha, 910 naphtha. Naphtha cracker unit. 10 to 16 kerosene. Then it is diesel. Then ওকে, এগুলো এক্স্যাক্টলি বলা মুশকিল আছে, এগুলো কমার্শিয়াল ব্যাপার তো, একটু আধটু চেঞ্জ হবে, যেটা বলবো সেটা মিলবে না, আরেক বইতে আরেক রকম পাবে, একটু চেঞ্জ হবে, কারণ এটা এটা ইয়ে না, এটা হচ্ছে কমার্শিয়াল, এটা ল্যাবরেটরি নয় যে ফর্মুলা ইজ ফর্মুলা, হ্যাঁ, ইকুয়েশন ইজ ইকুয়েশন, দ্যাট উইল নট ম্যাচ হিয়ার, লিটল বিট অফ চেঞ্জ ইউ ক্যান অলওয়েজ ফাইন্ড। Below the diesel oil you have lubricating oil, then you have fuel oil. This fuel oil particularly, it is also called heavy oil. We can undergo cracking, this can undergo cracking, producing some synthetic petrol. এটাকে ভেঙে এটা বানাতে পারি, because among all this is the costliest, this is the costliest, so cracking is targeted to make this synthetic petrol. Petrol is also called gasoline. কেন? অর্ধেক গ্যাস আছে বললাম, মানে খুঁজে পাবে, গ্যাসোলিন, গ্যাস আছে, গ্যাস থেকে গ্যাসোলিন। স্ট্রাকচার দেখো, স্ট্রাকচার, সো বিগ স্ট্রাকচার, and what we have learned, number, carbon number more, calorific value more, but very big carbon number, long chain molecule, that is a problem. Carbon soot can be formed, carbon particles can be formed. The long chain, that has a problem. So very long chain is not good for engine. That's why not used directly into engine. Engine একটা পার্টিকুলার লিমিট আছে, কোনটা ইউজ করা যাচ্ছে, আমি বলেছিলাম 18, এখানে 20 পর্যন্ত বলেছে, ফাইন, ঠিক আছে, 18-20 পর্যন্ত চলতে পারে।
Refining begins with a process called distilling. After oil is
distillation
superheated,
process.
it becomes
Just
vapor. The vapor is fed into the distillation unit. As it rises and cools, the vapor turns back into a liquid. Using stacks of trays, the liquid is easily collected at...
Is it clear now? Separate layer formation at different height and different temperature. This gasoline or petrol that you get at temperature 40 to 120, 40 to 120, in that range. Naphtha, obviously a bit higher temperature, then kerosene, higher temperature, diesel more. Diesel temperature more or less 250 to 320. Others will be in between. আরও নিচে টেম্পারেচার, আরও তোমার যত যে টেম্পারেচার ইজ মোর অ্যাট এ লোয়ার altitude, at a higher altitude temperature is less, because the gas, we have already injected the gas from the bottom, so as the gas is going upward, temperature is dropping. So at the topmost layer, temperature is around 40. That means almost room temperature. Right? 40 means almost room temperature. So that is from the gas coming out at around 40. Others are all in between. And here the heavy oil means it will be high temperature, 400 or something like that.
Separated by weight. The lighter and medium weight liquids require less processing before they're ready to be used in cars and trucks. The heavier liquids need more processing to become useful. A process called cracking is used to maximize the usefulness of heavy oil. Heavy oil has long strings of carbon and hydrogen molecules. Using a catalyst, These molecules can be broken into
Okay,
smaller
this
chains,
breaking of the long chain into small
transforming the
chain.
heavy oil
That is
into
called cracking.
lighter and
Time up.